All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another great review. The series is officially over. Season 1 finale of the story of Boba Fett has just aired, and we're here to talk about it and go over it, break it down, analyze it. And man, do we have some stuff to talk about. Let's do this. All right, everybody, and just before we get started, I'm going to give you some major spoilers. So if you haven't seen the series, just letting you know, I'm going to give you some massive spoilers. I warned you, let's do this. I already told you guys earlier, I kind of did at first impressions, how much I was looking forward to watching Boba Fett because I waited so long on a series like this and kind of gave up hope that it was ever going to happen. I just assumed it was one of those just little fan things. People said, one day this will happen, and it's never going to happen. Well, when Disney brought out The Mandalorian, I wasn't sure what to think at first about a Star Wars series, because traditionally, movies do not translate very well to series. Well, I got news for you. They took me by surprise. The Mandalorian was everything it should have been. And I mention this specifically because Boba Fett is a direct product of The Mandalorian in more ways than one. For starters, it has the exact same crew in charge of it. And I say crew because you have great directors, producers, and writers like Jon Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, what was her name? Bryce Dallas Howard working on it. All these great people. I've always said it's never just one person. You have to have a proper team in place. And that's precisely what Disney did. And Ludwig Göransson, if that's how you say his name, I have trouble pronouncing it, back again doing the soundtrack because he did such a great job last time. The question in my mind was, could they really top their previous series? And let me tell you, they did in so many ways. All right. So I can't truly spoil anything because I actually didn't finish the finale. I've got a little bit left, but I've seen enough to go ahead and give you a full review of everything. The story took me by surprise in so many ways because right from the opening scene, we see Boba Fett being very, dramatic and mysterious and very, he always speaks with such gravity, right? Doing an action scene. We're back at the Sarlacc scene from Return of the Jedi where he gets thrown in and everybody assumes he was dead, but he's not. He's still alive, walking the wastelands of Tatooine, trying to survive. And you see him learning hand-to-hand combat with the Tusken Raiders. I will never forget that scene. That was truly memorable because the Tusken Raiders are just this little nomad tribe that I never thought very much of, but watching him have to forego his armor and his gun and learn how to fight with his fists and learn how to fight with a stick, that was pretty neat how they had to teach him. And he got beat up a lot, by the way, just so you know. And by the way, the actor who plays as Boba Fett, I've never seen him before, but I've always wondered what he would look like unmasked. And this is precisely what I always thought. This is exactly how he should have looked, in my opinion. They didn't mess that up at all. That's always how I imagined Boba Fett would look. Kind of old, battle-scarred, but young enough to kick it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was great. The cinematography, people, the cinematography was so good. I love good cinematography. I do. When a movie is shot really, really well, and I always notice things like that, I love seeing that because it just adds to it. And it was filmed so well. It looks so great. The action scenes are perfectly choreographed. I mean, there's so many great scenes, like this one train scene where he's trying to disrupt the Pikes. Yes, the Pikes have returned in a really big way, by the way. And you watch Boba Fett try to disrupt their train because they're a crime syndicate and he wants to disrupt it. And that brings me to the plot line. How do you plot line such an enigmatic character? Because again, you're trying to give a backstory to a person who is the most insignificant character in the series, and yet he was so memorable. How do you do that? Simple. You do it by telling two stories at once. On the one hand, you get to see his backstory, who he was before he came to Tatooine, and then you get to see him now. He's taken over the throne of Jabba the Hutt, which was really kind of his anyway, but that's a long story. And he's determined to clean up the town of Mos Espa. It is crime-ridden. People are being oppressed, and Boba Fett has decided to leave his old life as a bounty hunter behind, and he's going to get every bit of this every bit of this crime cleaned up. If you're asking me what genre I'd give, it's a space western. And yes, it works. I'm serious. It is like a Western movie. There's a lot of dramatic scenes where, Fett grabs his side holster and, there's some shootout scenes that look right like they came right out of The Lone Ranger or something. By the way, I just have a suspicion. I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau was a fan of The Lone Ranger. And if you're wondering why I say that, just watch the series and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There's a little bit of humor, and that kind of made it pop. A lot of fantastic just action scenes. So many different things I didn't see coming. Like the Tusken Raiders. Again, very insignificant in the movies. And yet Jon Favreau and his great team did a good job of bringing them to life, really giving them some depth and characterization. What I will say is this: when you go watch the movies, you'll never look at the characters the same way again. And that's just how good it was written. So well written, great action, loved watching it. And some other things I want to note is we got some surprises right in the middle of the show, just when I thought I'd seen everything. I was like, okay, great, Boba Fett, he's cleaning up the town, he's getting rid of the crime, I like it, okay, it's going to be good, but I've seen everything. Episode 5, what is it called? Return of the Mandalorian. That's right, they threw the Mandalorian in. And if you're asking, could they fuse together these two stories? Yes, they could. And that's one of my spoilers. The Mandalorian teams up with Boba Fett to help clean up the town, and it is fantastic. It is awesome. It really looked great. Some other things is the Marshal returned, who was a really favorite character of mine. I know he only showed up for one episode, but I really, really liked him. The Marshal of the little town of Freetown, it is now, trying to also keep his town safe as he joins the band to try to protect Mos Espa. And also, guys, one of the biggest surprises was seeing, for the first time ever on live action, Cad Bane. Whoa, okay. I didn't see that coming. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a bounty hunter from some of the old animated shows they did. And I never imagined for a moment they would bring him to life, but they did. There was this one great scene where the Marshal is just sitting around making his rounds, and then out in the distance dramatically comes a figure. It's a little blurry, and he keeps watching, and the figure gets clearer and clearer, and you see this Stetson type hat, real flat brimmed, and you see these two pistols at the grip, and you see this character with his head down, you can't see his face, and then he raises up, and instantly I knew who I was looking at. It was Cad Bane return. Oh, and there's a great Western type shootout. You need to know something. I'm not really a fan of Westerns. I've always thought they were corny, cheesy, and just completely insipid. And yet I like watching this kind of Western. It was just so good. So, you guys, you did a phenomenal job. I won't spoil the ending for you, mostly because I don't know the ultimate ending. But, guys, you did so well. 10 out of 10. And by the way, after you raised the bar so high on The Mandalorian, I was prepared to shred this, and I don't know how you managed to top it. Great job. I loved watching. I've waited so long to see this. I've just waited years and years. I wanted to see if this would really happen. Boba Fett is finally given the story he deserves, and all these other great characters, Return of the Mandalorian, Cad Bane, the Marshal, all these guys coming together. It was so good. Well done. Great action scenes. Well told story. You did a phenomenal job. You really, really did. I hope this wins some awards, because in my mind, the creators definitely earned it. I mean, you earned it. Well done. I'm delighted you guys will be also working on Obi-Wan Kenobi later this year, and I will be seeing that with high expectations after watching this. Phenomenal job. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Well done. Oh, and family friendly. See, proof you can make great gripping shows and they can be family friendly. That's the best part. Well done. 10 out of 10. And thank you for watching this video. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button, because it is free. Just let you know, no charge. Drop me a comment. Tell me what you thought about the show. Are you looking forward to Obi-Wan Kenobi? I know I am. And we'll be seeing you on the next video. Couldn't help yourself.